We are going into a year of rate cuts. Fed's going to rate cut again this Thursday, and probably 25 basis points, but maybe even 50, probably 25. But the main thing is we're going into a cycle of rate cuts globally. This is massively bullish. Obviously, I don't know who's going to win. I think Trump's going to win. I think if he wins, we're going to immediately go up to about 80,000. Immediately. We are entering the year 3 of the Bitcoin bull market, and that is the year where all the gains typically are happening. I think there's a really good case to be made for why this extended bull market might continue on beyond 3 years. It might go to 4, 5, 6 years.
Starting with Bitcoin's current market performance, Fred highlights the incredible gains Bitcoin has made this year. Bitcoin is just 2% below its all-time high, showing a solid upward trend. Year to date, Bitcoin is up 66%, which outpaces gold, an asset that's typically considered a safe haven and is up by 33% this year. What's remarkable about this achievement is that Bitcoin has maintained its strength despite multiple hurdles, including large-scale sell-offs. These events include sales from Mt. Gox, the infamous defunct Bitcoin exchange, as well as Bitcoin sales by the German government worth around $3 billion. Turning to the political environment, Fred Krueger notes that the U.S. election is just days away. With former President Donald Trump leading the betting markets by 10 points, there's speculation that a Trump victory could propel Bitcoin's price to $80,000 or more. However, Fred makes it clear that Bitcoin's performance doesn't hinge solely on who wins the presidency.
Please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can also check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies and the overall digital asset space and drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks and enjoy the video.
We are at 69K, which is basically 2% under all-time highs. By any measure, Bitcoin's doing great. We've had an amazing year so far. We're up 66%. Year to date, gold is up 33%. We've outperformed gold, and this is despite Mt. Gox. This is despite Germany selling $3 billion worth of Bitcoin. This is despite FTX selling all of its GBTC. This is about DCG selling GBTC to pay for 3AC litigation. There's just been all this selling outside of ETFs. And meanwhile, ETFs have done fantastically well. IBIT has had the best year of any ETF ever. It's the most successful ETF in the history of ETFs, to use Larry Fink's word. So we've had a great year. We're trading almost at all-time high, and we're 3 days away from the election. So that's number one. Number one is price action is great. Number two, Trump's still leading by 10 points in the betting markets. You know, these markets have combined a little, compressed a little bit. Because you can take your profits. You don't have to keep the bet open for the entire length of the market. So we've just seen a little profit taking there. But look, we're still up 10 points in the betting markets. Number three is we are going into a year of rate cuts. Fed's going to rate cut again this Thursday, and probably 25 basis points, but maybe even 50, probably 25. But the main thing is we're going into a cycle of rate cuts globally. This is massively bullish. The fourth thing is kind of the macro deficit environment is completely out of control. We can't have high rates for much longer. We're spending more on interest payments than we are spending on defense spending. It's out of control. There's no way to continue this another year. We have to cut rates. Which is very bullish. And the last point is, of course, we are entering the year 3 of the Bitcoin bull market, and that is the year where all the gains typically are happening. I think there's a really good case to be made for why this extended bull market might continue on beyond 3 years. It might go to 4, 5, 6 years. We'll talk to Plan C later next week about that. But regardless, there's a lot of reason to be extremely bullish for next year. So that's the setup. Obviously, I don't know who's going to win. I think Trump's going to win. I think if he wins, we're going to immediately go up to about 80,000. Immediately. But I think, in any case, getting through this election will be positive once we get out on the other side. And I think all these facts that I mentioned will still be in play. So I'm extremely bullish.
Jack Mallers offers a nuanced view on regulatory issues, explaining that while there has been a war on crypto, it has not been a war on Bitcoin itself. Regulatory efforts have largely focused on platforms that issue tokens or engage in unregistered securities sales, such as Ethereum and Solana. Bitcoin, on the other hand, has seen considerable adoption by Wall Street and enjoys clearer regulatory positioning as it is widely accepted as a non-security. Institutions like public companies are now holding Bitcoin, with asset managers and influential investors, such as Paul Tudor Jones, openly endorsing it. Jack points out that Bitcoin's regulatory clarity and institutional adoption separate it from other cryptocurrencies that have faced heavier scrutiny from entities like the SEC. This distinct status places Bitcoin in a favorable position, regardless of regulatory actions aimed at other parts of the crypto ecosystem.
The S&P is performing really well for totally different reasons. I think Bitcoin is the most natural expression and the most true form of consciousness throughout the world. And Bitcoin's been in the same range for the last 6 months because I think the world has been generally confused and uncertain for the last 6 months. Who's going to be the president? Who's a Democratic nominee? What's their policies? Like nobody knows anything. Bitcoin's going to win no matter what. It's been winning under Biden for the last 18 months. It's been slaughtering performance against any other thing. It's been making massive progress. I see if Kamala wins, I see that changing zero. Now, if I run a coin scam, is Kamala a threat to my coin scam? Probably, yes, because Democrats have been very aggressive as filing lawsuits and trying to shut down and imposing themselves on people. But Bitcoin's been on a tear the last 18 months. What are we talking about? I think Bitcoin wins no matter what. I think even if we have 4 more years of Democrats, they're not going to get in Bitcoin's way, if at all, if anything, slightly. It's more a war on crypto. It's more a war on Coinbase. Bitcoin has been relatively unaffected. Of course, a Trump presidency is better for Bitcoin. Of course, lesser taxes is better for Bitcoin. Of course, lesser staffed IRS is better for Bitcoin. I never, ever said otherwise. It's just to make the point that a war on crypto has not been a war on Bitcoin. It doesn't necessarily mean a war on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's made unbelievable institutional progress despite Democrats being at a war on Bitcoin the last 18 months. So when you log on to Twitter and you see people say, Kamala's going to ruin our industry, whose industry? Is that a coiner? Is that a coin exchange? Is that a coin evangelist? Or is that a Bitcoiner? Because Bitcoin's been making progress and I don't think anyone can stop it at this point. The amount of belief that Bitcoiners give to Trump too, like, who knows if Trump's going to follow through on 10% of the things he said? And that's not a knock against Trump. The point is, we don't know. Can the government attack Bitcoin at any point? Yes. But why, like over the last 18 months, Bitcoin has done everything it's needed to do. It's gotten the regulatory clarity. It's gotten Wall Street adoption. It's got banking adoption. It's growing. It is not crypto. It's outperforming Ethereum. It's destroying Ethereum. So you're going to sit here on a podcast and tell me because the 16th Amendment, speculative extrapolation, that that's going to change? It might, Dylan. But my point is to the internet, there's no proof. There's no proof. If the existing war on crypto continues like it has been over the last 18 months, that isn't going to change my life, because over the last 18 months, it hasn't changed my life. I'm not long Solana. I don't run an exchange. I don't elicit and sell unregistered securities. None of that has impacted me. And so if nothing changes and it's another 4 years, none of it's going to impact me. Now, if the government does like a gold 6102 or some 16th Amendment that you're saying, then yes, like, of course. And I think in either direction, like over the long term, there's always a risk that the government comes and tries to seize our assets. Bitcoiners talk about that all the time. I just went on a rant about that to counteract Michael Saylor. But like, we're speculating now. Now you're speculating on like You're just speculating. Like, you might as well speculate on Trump too. Like, is he actually going to do the things he said? Who knows? Like, we're just guessing at this point, right? Bitcoin is not a security. Bitcoin is generally accepted. Bitcoin has an ETF. Like, large asset allocators are building Bitcoin positions. Paul Tudor Jones is on CNBC saying there's inflation no matter how you slice it, no matter which direction politicians choose. I'm long Bitcoin. I mean, yes, maybe, but the IRS thing is not a war on Bitcoin. The IRS thing, the Democrats are going to war on anyone that makes money in this country. Kamala said she wanted an unrealized capital gain. So I don't think that's a war on Bitcoin. That's just a war on anyone that achieves anything in America, which is a problem. But I just think that there's this idea that, like, Democrats have been battling Coinbase. Coinbase is not a Bitcoin company. I think Bitcoin isn't affected by any of this. I mean, listen, short-term price, sure. But there's not been a war on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's ETF got approved. Like, Strike's banked by banks. I think there's a war on crypto. Yes, the Democrats have. I think Bitcoin is not attacked. Let me put it to you that way. You guys think Bitcoin's attacked? I think crypto's attacked. People fly that around too often.
The IRS has targeted Bitcoin companies egregiously. I've been through an audit. Yes, we have been targeted by this government, obviously. The IRS has been heavy-handed. Go ask Coinbase how much fun they have. If they had to do over again, they have guaranteed.
Coinbase is a coin exchange. That's my point. People fly this around too much of, like, this is a war on crypto. I don't give a about crypto. I think Ethereum and Solana and all these things, Gensler's going to continue to fire lawsuits at everyone. That hasn't affected my life at all. At all. It doesn't matter. Their war on crypto has been on not Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been able to achieve and grow and do everything it's needed to do. It has regulatory clarity from the SEC. Public companies are buying it. The biggest asset allocators in the world are buying it. This war on crypto has not been a war on Bitcoin. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to, I can tell how much you love Trump. I'm not trying to talk about Trump. Nothing to do with Trump. I'm just saying the war on crypto from the Democrats has been about unregistered securities and coins and Coinbase. It hasn't impacted my life at all. So if they win, I'm not fearful. I don't think they're going to come. I think Bitcoin wins no matter what. I think it's more a war on the rest of the industry. That's all I'm saying.
Jack addresses concerns about potential governmental action against Bitcoin, such as asset seizures or attempts to curb its use, especially under a Democrat-led government. However, he notes that while Democrats have pursued aggressive regulations, these have largely targeted crypto firms rather than Bitcoin itself. Even with the possibility of new regulations, Jack asserts that Bitcoin's established role in the financial system and its distinct positioning as a non-security give it resilience against such threats. Moreover, Jack suggests that Bitcoin's utility and acceptance in the financial world make it immune to much of the regulatory risk affecting other crypto assets. He argues that while Democrats have been aggressive against the broader crypto market, this has not impeded Bitcoin's progress. From gaining regulatory clarity to ETF approvals and institutional adoption, Bitcoin is well positioned to endure regardless of the regulatory climate.
Please like and subscribe my channel.